Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on NightComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Welcome back. We really apologize for that glitch in transmission. Into politics now, Oyo State Governor and APM presidential candidate Seyi Makinde says the party will collaborate with other opposition parties to provide Nigerians with a credible alternative in the 2027 elections. Speaking at the APM National Convention in Bauchi, Makinde said a strong opposition was essential to sustaining democracy. He urged the party's new leadership to work with other opposition groups towards building a stronger political alternative ahead of the 2027 polls. Still on elections now, the All Progressive Congress APC in Osun State has alleged the killing of Dele Ayegbo, nephew of the Campaign Director General Wole Oke. The party said Ayegbo was shot dead on Wednesday near his residence in Idofin Esauke in Obokun local government area. APC said the attack was carried out by suspected hoodlums who operated from a vehicle. The allegations come just days before Saturday's governorship election, amid heightened tensions across the state. To PDP now, where the People's Democratic Party candidate for Ogungu State constituency in Ogun State House of Assembly, Michael Idoko, has rejected the 5 million naira campaign signage fee imposed on the assembly candidates. Idoko described the levy as an anti-democratic and anti-people, saying it could restrict political participation to candidates with deep financial resources. He said the policy was unacceptable ahead of the 2027 general elections. The Kogi State government has also approved the 150 million naira as the official billboard placement fee for the presidential candidate across the state. We move to Lagos now, where motorists on the Bagada Express in Lagos have been faced with heavy traffic following two separate accidents. The first involved 2 trucks, while the second involved 2 trailers and 5 other vehicles near Charlie Boy. Officials at LASMA, assisted by a tow truck and a forklift, were deployed to clear the wreckage. One of the trucks from the first accident has been removed, while others ongoing to clear the remaining trailer. The 5 vehicles involved in the second crash have also been evacuated. We move to Bayelsa State, where the State Ministry of Health has raised concerns over increasing cases of hypertension in the state. Commissioner of Health, Professor Seifa Birisibe, said previous screening exercises recorded hypertension prevalence of between 10 and 15% among those screened. He also noted that the condition was more common among older residents and males. Birisibe urged the residents to regularly check their blood pressure, warning that hypertension can remain undetected until serious complications have developed. We move to north of the country now. The Sokoto State Police Command has rescued a 10-year-old boy who was allegedly abducted and hidden inside a sack in Taganza local government area. The rescue followed intelligence-led operations that also resulted in the arrest of 2 suspected kidnappers. The command says operations are part of intensified efforts to dismantle criminal network and tackle kidnapping across the state. Moving to the east now, Anambra kidnapping The abductors of Jesco Group chairman Joseph Ezel Okafor have reportedly increased their ransom demand from 700 million to 1.4 billion. The businessman was reportedly kidnapped on Tuesday while traveling in a prayer ground in Anambra State. According to reports, communications between the kidnappers and family has broken down despite the family's efforts and willingness to negotiate his release. Still on the security of the country, Deputy Governor Bafemi Hamzat has vowed to intensify the removal of individuals who allegedly harass motorists and stop luxury vehicles along Lekki-Ekpe Expressway. Hamzat described the activity as criminal, accusing the individuals of extortion and harassment. He said law enforcement agencies have begun removing the offenders from major transit corridor in the state. The Benue State Police Command has recovered a newborn baby allegedly stolen from his mother at the hospital in Boko. Police spokesperson Peter Odongu confirmed the recovery and said some suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident. The baby was reportedly stolen just hours after he was delivered on Tuesday. The incident has caused tension at the hospital, prompting the development of security personnel to prevent a breakdown of law and order. More stories after the break. Please do stay with us this morning. Thank you for staying with us. Now we move to business. The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria has backed the ongoing industrial action by aviation workers, warning employers against victimizing workers for exercising their right to unionize. The union's president, Festus Osifo, stated this in Abuja while briefing journalists on the state of the nation, declaring Congress's full support for the aviation workers' action. Marino Haniel tells more of the story. The ongoing industrial action by aviation workers involves the Nigerian Labour Congress, the Air Transport Service Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, and the Trade Union Congress, with the unions protesting unresolved issues involving workers, unionization, and the remittance of statutory charges to the aviation regulator. President, Trade Union Congress Festus Osifo said the TUC will resist any attempt by employers to deny workers their fundamental right to belong to trade unions or punish them for exercising that right. The position came as aviation workers disrupted flight operations at airports in Lagos and Abuja, leaving several passengers stranded. The TUC therefore called on the federal government to intensify efforts to tackle insecurity, particularly in farming communities, to enable farmers to return to their farms and boost food production.
So we called this press conference to further our advocacy on issues that are affecting our members, issues that are affecting the Nigerian populace, and also issues that are affecting our specific affiliates. We have some issues regarding aviation, correct. You could go to the airport. It was difficult flying from Abuja and Lagos today because the unions in that sector, they are currently on strike. And one of the unions in that sector is ATSAN, and ATSAN is an affiliate of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. These airlines, they have refused members who want to unionize to unionize. They have refused the affiliates to organize members in the aviation sector. And any company who does not want members to organize, what you are actually doing is because you know that you are subjecting them to hardship. You know that you are not taking care of their welfare. And you know that you just want to wake up any morning and get them terminated. And for us, from the ILO Convention to the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it is our indelible right to unionize. We have the right, so no employer can stop an employee from belonging to the union. It was good for us to produce food internally, but the price as at then was skyrocketing because of the singular issue of farmers not being able to go to their farms. This food importation could be stopped only and only if farmers could go back to farm. Only if and only when the supply end has been solved. Because simple economics from our secondary school are that when the supply is limited,
1.7 billion naira for the purchase of 1,000 Bajaj motorcycles to support security agencies in the fight against banditry. The approval was reached at the 6th Estate Executive Council meeting for 2026, chaired by Governor Idris Mohammed Gobir. The government says the motorcycles will improve the mobility of security personnel, especially in difficult terrains and communities affected by banditry. Still on vehicles, the federal government has approved tax waivers for nearly 4,000 electric vehicles imported into Nigeria in the first half of 2026. The initiative is aimed at encouraging cleaner transportation and supporting local vehicle assembly, despite challenges including inadequate electricity in the country and limited charging infrastructure. The approvals are the first batch under the government's new Electric Mobility Incentive Program. West Africa could build a $3 trillion native energy market by 2035 if its 16 countries integrate their energy systems into a single regional market. Chairman of Rose Hill Group Advisory Suleiman Yahya made the projection at the West African Refined Fuel Market Conference in Abuja. He called for the interconnected infrastructure, common product standard, shared data system, and unified dispute resolution to drive regional energy trade and investment. Still on business, Pan-Africa stablecoin infrastructure payment provider Yellow Card is expanding its global operations following the $40 million strategic Series C fund round. The company says the funding will support the expansion of its global USD account for business and strengthen stablecoin payment infrastructure across its international markets. Yellow Card is also expanding its presence in Latin America and the Asia-Pacific region while deepening partnership with global financial payments companies. Now we move to entertainment, where Mariah Ekinde, daughter of the veteran actress Omotola Jalade Ekinde, has announced her engagement. Mariah shared the news on Wednesday through a black and white video capturing moments from a beach proposal. The identity of her fiancé remains private, with Mariah revealing only part of his face in the video. The announcement has attracted congratulatory messages from friends, family members, and fans. We move to Afrobeat legend Femi Kuti says President Bola Tinubu is not a major problem facing Nigeria today. Speaking on Good News Niger podcast, Kuti identified international corruption, institutional corruption as one of the country's biggest challenges. The musician argued that a stronger judicial system could have prevented leaders facing serious allegations from occupying political offices. Femi Kuti said corruption is deeply rooted in Nigeria, with people in positions of authority across different sectors forming part of what he described as a corrupt elite. More stories after the break. Please do stay with us on Skyliine News. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now we'll move to sport. 6 Arab Football Federation presidents have thrown their support behind FIFA President Gianni Infantino amid growing pressures on his leadership. The federation include Qatar and Morocco, co-hosts of the 2030 FIFA World Cup. Infantino, who is seeking re-election next year, has faced criticisms following the collapse of a proposed private investment deal involving FIFA competitions, including the World Cup. Still an Infantino, Malawi Football Association President Fleetwood Haya has backed the FIFA president. Infantino crediting FIFA investment in African football for Malawi's breakthrough on the international stage. Haya said Malawi's qualification for the 2027 Women's World Cup was as a result of increased investment in African football under Infantino. Malawi have emerged as surprise performers at the ongoing Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, reaching the semi-finals to secure their place at the World Cup. We move to Bangladesh now, where produced a stunning display on the opening day of their Test series against Australia in Darwin, dismissing the world top-ranked side for 198 runs. The result marks Bangladesh's first Test appearance in Australia in 23 years. First bowler Hassan Mahmood was the star of the day, taking 6 wickets for 55 runs as Bangladesh's pace attack dismantled Australia's battling lineup. We move to the foreign scene now, where the international push to reopen the Strait of Hormuz is intensifying as the International Energy Agency warns that global oil stockpiles are falling rapidly. Traffic through the strategic waterways remain at very low levels, despite U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that strait is open and under American control. Iran is demanding compensation over alleged oil pollution in Persian Gulf and surrounding waters after footage reportedly showed oil washing ashore near Qeshm Island. We move to Thailand now, where the country is tightening its gun laws following last week's deadly school shooting, which a 14-year-old boy killed 8 people before taking his own life. Prime Minister Anutin has ordered the officials to urgently strengthen firearm controls across the country. The measures include suspending new gun purchase permits, reviewing pending applications, and halting new welfare gun programs that allow eligible public officials to purchase firearms at discounted rates. We move to Mexico now, where concern is growing in the country over rising number of influencers being killed amid violent clashes between rival cartel factions. The latest victim is influencer Caesar, who was shot dead while live streaming outside a fast food restaurant. Witnesses said 2 men on a motorcycle approached him during the live stream before one of them opened fire. The killing has renewed concerns over growing targeting of social media personalities, particularly in Mexico's most dangerous states. We move to UK, where the British government has defended its seizure of a Russian-linked Shadow Fleet oil tanker in the English Channel, despite threats of retaliation from Russian President Vladimir Putin. The vessel Smitros was intercepted and boarded by the Royal Marines in June in an operation amid disrupting sanctioned oil shipment. The ship's captain, A.J. Pant, has been charged with breaching Russian sanctions. That is all we have now on Newsline Recap. Please stay with us for updated news. My name is Marina Haniel. Do have a very lovely good morning.
Watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
watch Skyliine News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyliine TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyliine News, beyond the headlines.
Downpours pose the greatest structural threat, as water can flood the pits and rapidly erode clay walls, as demonstrated during the historic flood of 1967. Although modern housing with utilities has been constructed above ground, many Berber families remain in ancestral cave dwellings, enduring sharp temperature contrasts between the cool underground interiors and the intensely hot desert surface that can cause heat stress and dehydration. Komik is a small village located in the Spiti Valley and is often cited as the highest village in the world, connected by a paved road. The settlement sits at an elevation of about 15,051 feet above sea level, spreading gently across a steep mountainside and overlooking a deep valley where winding roads cling tightly to sheer rock faces. At this altitude, the sense of open space becomes pronounced and the sky feels unusually close, creating a strong feeling of isolation from the world below. A remarkable feature of Komik is that marine fossils such as ammonites can be easily found embedded in the rocks on the surrounding slopes. These remnants indicate that millions of years ago, this section of the Himalaya was once the floor of the ancient Tethys Ocean. While the nearby village of Hikim holds the record for the highest post office, Komik is regarded as the highest village accessible by a standard paved road, where daily life follows Tibetan cultural traditions closely linked to the ancient monastery overlooking the valley. Migingo Island is one of the smallest geographic entities to trigger direct territorial tension between Kenya and Uganda. Covering roughly 21,500 square feet, the island is densely packed with metal shacks, bars, pharmacies, and fishermen's quarters, leaving almost no open space. The concentration of structures eliminates trees and vegetation, and movement occurs through narrow, dark corridors, barely wide enough for a single person. More than 500 residents occupy about half an acre, resulting in poor sanitation conditions and elevated disease transmission risks due to the absence of waste treatment systems. The compressed metal rooftops stand in sharp contrast to the vast and calm freshwater expanse of Lake Victoria surrounding the rock. The presence of high-value Nile perch fisheries attracts cash flow and labor, while simultaneously turning Migingo into a hotspot for armed attacks and robberies on the lake. Would you dare to stand beneath leaking corpses dangling from sheer cliffs amidst the misty valleys of the Philippines? This is one of the most haunting graveyards on Earth, with a bone-chilling burial tradition that has endured for over 2,000 years. The story begins with the elderly carving their own caskets from hollow trees, and when death calls, the corpse is propped on a wooden chair with lifeless eyes staring toward the door. Even more terrifying, these vessels measure less than 3 feet long, forcing the bones of the deceased to be snapped into a fetal position to fit inside the cramped wood. As the coffin is hoisted into the air, those below desperately scramble to be splattered by the fluids of the dead to seize their final bits of talent and luck. Despite being fastened to the rock with only crude wooden spikes and ropes, these caskets have clung defiantly for hundreds of years, enduring dozens of massive super typhoons every season. Dariaboy is one of the most unique and isolated ancient villages in China, existing as a rare pocket of human survival deep inside the harsh Taklamakan Desert. The village is surrounded by millennia-old populous Euphratica trees, a species capable of extreme drought resistance that turns bright gold in autumn, creating a landscape that feels almost unreal. All life in Dariaboy depends on the lower reaches of the Karaya River, where flowing water disappears into sand and leaves behind underground reserves that sustain both people and ancient forests. To withstand sandstorms and extreme day-to-night temperature shifts, residents build homes entirely from local materials, using poplar frames and mud-coated willow walls as an example of extreme environmental adaptation. A symbol of coexistence with the desert is kucha bread, baked by burying dough directly in hot sand beneath layers of ash from desert firewood. Each morning, the Keria people gather around the fire with warm, salted milk tea, preserving a way of life that values spiritual sufficiency over material wealth.